I'm Deberah Bringleson, and I help CEOs and entrepreneurs around the world grow their businesses as much as 3,500%. And you're watching Audacious Confidence on Dream Maniac TV.
Hey, welcome, Dreamaniacs. Alicia Couri here, your red carpet CEO. And my mission is to influence, educate, inspire, and entertain you with audacious confidence so you can live a life that you deserve. So I am here and I have a really exciting guest with me today here on Audacious Confidence. But before I get to Deberah, I want to invite you to come on board, come on over here on Dreamaniac TV, share this out with your friends, share it to show that you care, share with within a group, share as a message on Messenger, also tag someone that you think might need a little confidence boost or might want to hear a little bit more about the quantum field and how to manifest things using confidence. And so tag a friend, bring them on by, make sure you are here on the Dreamaniac TV page on Facebook so that we can see your comments and we can interact with you, because we definitely want to know what your thoughts are, what your feelings are while we go through this amazing content with you today. I want you to drop a hashtag live if you are here live watching us, and also drop a hashtag replay if you're watching this on replay. In addition to that, I know we have some friends who are not on Facebook. So if you have a friend that's not on Facebook, that's okay, because they can also watch live on our website. They just need to go to www.dreamaniac.com/live. Yes, dreamaniac.com/live. They just need to go to dreamaniac.com and they can watch. Unfortunately, they won't be able to comment unless they're on Facebook, but they can definitely get the content, get this great information that we are about to share with you today. And let me see, if you are here from any part of the world, please let me know where you're joining in from. Tell us where you're joining in from. Drop it in the comments. And because we're broadcasting on multiple pages here on Facebook, we would love for you to come on over to facebook.com/Dreamaniac TV so that you can interact with us and we can see your comments. So I've been sitting here for a little bit with a tiara on my head. Yes. Some of you may be wondering, why is she sitting here with a tiara on her head? So I'm going to tell you why. A couple weeks ago, when I first launched the show, I did talk about making a quantum shift in your confidence by creating an alter ego for yourself. So I did promise that I was going to show you who my alter ego was. And so here she is. My alter ego is a beauty queen. So I came with my tiara today just so that you can see my alter ego, because honestly, this helped me at a time when I wanted to start speaking. I wanted to be a speaker. So I knew I was going to be up on stage. I knew that I was going to be in front of an audience, and I needed, much like Beyonce, remember I talked about Beyonce and Sasha Fierce and how she's generally more reserved, less outgoing in her everyday life. But when she's ready to perform, she turns into Sasha Fierce and she just goes. And so for me, at that time, about 3 or 4 years ago, when I knew I was going to start stepping on stage, I thought, well, who steps on stage with boldness and confidence and just owns the stage when they are on the stage? And for me, that was a beauty queen. And so I embody that whenever I have to go speak. I take that with me. And so that has been my alter ego. Now it's become so much a part of me that I don't even think about it anymore. It's just there. It just turns on. So my tiara is in a box. I don't wear it all the time. I don't need to wear it. It's in me now. So we can say goodbye to the tiara for the rest of the interview. I don't need to wear it. I just wanted to show you. So that is my alter ego. Yay! So for today, we are talking about quantum shifts, and we are talking about your confidence. We're talking about your confidence. So we are here live after, I'm sorry, I'm trying to read something from my producer and I just got thrown sideways. So, and so when, I'm settling myself because I was told I shouldn't do that. So here we go again. We are talking today about making a quantum shift. We're talking today about making a quantum shift. And so what we need to do when we're looking at our confidence, and how do we really embrace that? How do we make those huge transitions? Because a quantum shift is really a quantum leap is really taking a sudden and significant change or advance or increase. That is the definition of taking a quantum leap. So when we're looking at taking quantum leaps in our confidence, we want to look at taking like advancing, skipping steps, making huge jumps, really transforming ourselves in a short period of time. And it is very possible. It is very possible to do it. And I remember my first quantum shift, the first time I took that kind of advanced leap, it was a spiritual experience. It was the first time that I had an encounter with God, a really true spiritual encounter with God. And it really changed my life. I felt it, I experienced it, and took my faith, took my belief, took my desire to a whole different level. And so I understand quantum shifts. I know I've experienced them many times in my life. I look for them. I can't wait to experience them. And so today we're going to give you just a few tips on how you can experience those quantum shifts yourself. And hey, I see some people joining. So thank you for jumping on and joining with us. And so receiving my salvation, that was a big quantum shift for me spiritually. I've had quantum shifts mentally, where I had incredible breakthroughs mentally as well as emotionally. And so we're going to talk to our guests about creating those quantum shifts and how you can really go from one state to another. And so I've always been fascinated since having that experience with God. I've always been fascinated with the unseen, bringing the unseen into the seen. So I hope this makes sense. You're bringing the unseen realm, things that are not visible to us, into existence. And there are ways to do that. And so I know that for me, I'm always searching and seeking that out. And so I will share anything that I've learned, anything that will help you also understand how to do that yourself. You know, one of my mentors and coaches, David Nagel, he talks about being an unconscious competent. And I strive not to be an unconscious competent, so that when things do happen for me, when I do make shifts, when things do happen, I can go back and look at it and really see what steps I took, what things did I shift in my mindset, in my feelings, in my emotions. What was the process that got me from point A to like Y? You know, like what was that process that made me take that leap, that jump? And so one of the things that helped me a lot is reading. I read a lot of really great books. And so if you've been around me for any length of time, you know that Think and Grow Rich is one of my favorite books. And this one too, The Science of Getting Rich. It may be backwards, but by Wallace Wattles. This is another really, really incredible book. And it talks about bringing the seen into the unseen, into the seen realm. It talks about making those quantum shifts. And so I just wanted to read one quick little passage from this book. And it says, there is a thinking stuff from which all things are made, and which, in its original state, permeates, penetrates, and fills the interspaces of the universe. A thought in this substance produces the thing that is imagined by the thought. Man can form things in his thought, and by impressing his thought upon formless substance, can cause the thing he thinks about to be created. So that's bringing thoughts, bringing the formless substance, those things that are not seen, those things that are in the ether, into reality, into your own reality. And so I just love reading this book. I said to myself, I set a goal that every quarter I'm going to read this book this year, because I'm just absorbing and digesting all of the information from Wallace Wattles in that book, bringing the formless substance into my reality. So tonight, before I bring my guest on, we have a poll that we're going to take. We're going to take a poll, and the poll is going to run for the entire broadcast. And the poll is, have you ever experienced a quantum shift? Yes, no, or I don't even know what you're talking about. So participate in the poll. Just click on the screen, and you'll it will record your what your response is. And again, you have to be here on facebook.com/DermaniacTV in order for us to see your comments. Hey, Karen. Yes, waves. Explain that to me, Karen. Talk to me about waves. So I want you to be able to interact with us. So come to Germaniac TV here on Facebook so that we can see your comments and interact with your comments. Because again, we're broadcasting on multiple pages. And so I want you to know that Audacious Confidence, this show here, is brought to you by Sebastian.com and AliciaCouri.com. And we're broadcast here on Germaniac TV using BeLive. So I am going to talk about my guest now for a moment. My guest is a phenomenal woman. I met her on LinkedIn. You all know. Oh, you're waving hello. Yay. Hi, Karen. Thank you. I got so wrapped up in quantum shifts that I couldn't connect the dots. So my guest, I met her on LinkedIn. And I love LinkedIn. You know, I'm here on Facebook, but I love using LinkedIn to connect with really amazing, phenomenal people. So if you have a business, if you're not on LinkedIn, you need to be on LinkedIn. And so Deberah Bringleson, she is phenomenal. She's a global profit producing authority, best known for her work with Richard Branson. Deberah is one of the most profit-producing business growth and empowerment experts in the world. Combining quantum mechanics, secrets of manifestation from ancient mystery schools, and her own Native American shamanic traditions, Deberah weaves manifestation teachings with her highly innovative business strategies, creating her own success formula. The power of 3, her proven formula, has created extraordinary results, including multiple companies achieving more than, get this, 3,000% growth. That is huge. It is through these combined forces that people from the US to Europe to India to Dubai and Africa have begun living lives of ease, joy, abundance, and fun. Deberah is an internationally recognized speaker and author, co-authoring Practical Business Wisdom and Magic with Joe Vitale from The Secret. So I would like to welcome Miss Deberah Bringleson to the show. Yay! Oh, I just saw the comment. I'm sorry, Deberah, from Karen. Yes, quantum shifts. So Deberah, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm thrilled to be here with you. Thank you for the invitation.
All right. So, you have worked with Richard Branson and some of the top people in the world. Tell me about that experience.
You know, I call it the 3 E's. It was exhausting, exhilarating, and exciting.
All at the same time.
All at the same time, yes.
So I know from reading some background on you that you had a very traumatic childhood. But instead of sitting in that space, because today we are talking about confidence and we're talking about making shifts, instead of sitting in that space, so we're going to talk a little bit about your childhood, you were able to shift into this successful, business building mogul. You just create for people these big businesses. How were you able to do that?
Well, you know, I think when I was first starting out in my career, it was a bit of fake it until you make it.
Yeah.
You know, and we're talking about confidence, but sometimes that's a part of it. I mean, you know, when I first got asked by now Governor Newsom, the governor from California, to lead that effort with Richard Branson, I didn't know what I was doing at all. I'd never done anything like that. And sometimes you have to put those fears aside and you just have to, you know, pull up your old panties and do it.
Yes. Because a lot of times we are asked to do things that we have no experience doing, but we know we can do it. We know that, you know, that all right, I don't know the exact steps. I don't know exactly how I'm going to accomplish this, but I see the vision.
Well, and I think one of the things that a lot of people forget when they're asked to do something, and it's a great reminder. So somebody reminded me of this when I was thinking about starting a family. And I was like, well, I don't know if I know what to do when she's 16 and, you know, and they're like, you don't have to have all of the answers today. You have to have them when you need them. And I think one of the things that's really important for people to understand is as you're starting out, you're growing every moment of every day. You know, like I like to say, I don't like people to be put into a box because I know that I'm different now than I was when I got up this morning. And we have to recognize that on ourselves, and we have to allow other people to experience that for themselves.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's toggle back a little bit to your childhood. Because we did say you had a tumultuous childhood. Is there anything that you want to share about that? Because I read your story. Mm-hmm. Do you want to share some of that with us?
Well, you know, so I think there are some things that have been important for me on my journey. And as I work with CEOs all over the world, we all have something. You know, my experience was traumatic for me because it was my experience. And everybody who has their own experience, it's traumatic for them. But, you know, in a nutshell, I grew up in a very violent home. There was a lot of physical, emotional, and sexual abuse, a lot of life or death experiences. There were times, you know, as early as 5 years old that I was held at gunpoint. And so it had two effects on me, I think, that were profound. One was, you know, obviously it was terrifying, but it caused me to minimize myself and my value, which it's been a lifelong thing for me to work on, and I'm completely experiencing the shifts myself. But the other thing is that even as young as 5 years old, I had to be powerful. Wow. And who at 5 years old feels powerful, right? Especially when there are adults who are threatening to kill you. So
Yeah.
I think that that's in some ways helped me as I've been out in the world. You know, people say to me, well, you've worked with, you know, like Ronald Reagan and George Bush and Richard Branson. How do you work with those people? And one of the things that I really realize is they're exactly like I am.
They put their pants on one leg at a time.
Absolutely, they do. And so I think it's really important that we embrace who we are from all aspects. I mean, you know, when I was learning all of this initially, I was always trying to be the light. I was always trying to, you know, I'm going to be good and I'm going to be worthy and I'm going to, you know, take care of everyone. And I was ignoring all of this pain and darkness. And it wasn't until I started bringing it all together and acknowledging the pain and darkness that's when I really started feeling powerful. Not because I wasn't, you know, still trying to do good things in the world,
right?
But because I wasn't trying to suppress so much, because there's so much energy that you waste when you're suppressing.
When you're suppressing. I want to say, hey, Lisa, thank you for joining, and Kimberly, and I see some folks jumping on. Thank you so much for joining us. But it is so true, because when you're trying to balance the dark and the light, you're trying to balance and not let anybody see your pain, not let anybody, not show anybody, because that seems like a weakness. You know, it's like that pain, that experience, that's a weakness. But in fact, it was meant to teach you something and show you your strength.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that when you spend so much energy hiding from it, it exhausts you. And when I spent so much of my life trying to make other people more important, you know, taking care of them, fixing for them, solving problems, that I wasn't taking care of myself. And one of the things that happens when you do that is you're not nourished and you become exhausted and you don't have anything to give because you've given it all away.
Absolutely. I just want to say, hey, to you guys joining us. Thank you for coming on board. If you are on the Germaniac TV page on Facebook, hey, Kamanzi, thanks for joining us.
Kamanzi, I love you, Kamanzi.
Yay. I'll be at their wedding next week. Oh, this weekend, actually, not even next week. It's this weekend. So thank you for joining. Come to the Germaniac TV page. And we do have a poll going on right now. It is, you know, have you ever experienced a quantum shift? I know Karen answered. Thank you, Karen, for your response. I was reading the bio why I didn't acknowledge your response, but yes, thank you for your response, Karen. So we had a guest, a couple on another show talk about kind of taking those traumatic things from your past and reframing them in a way that helps propel you in the future. Do you believe in that kind of reframing as well?
I absolutely believe in reframing, and especially for those who are reliving. Because so we're going to talk a little bit, I think, about confidence in quantum physics. And one of the things that happens when you experience a traumatic event, and trust me, I've done this, so you know, there's no judgment on my part. But when you keep bringing it back into your experience, so you have a traumatic experience at, say, 15, when you're 30 and you're still keyed into it, it's the quantum world doesn't understand time, because time is something that exists on this planet, but it doesn't actually exist.
Right.
So if I'm 30 and I'm thinking about something that happened when I was 15,
it's like right here and now.
Taking the energy of that and bringing it into my now. And here's the really important part. I am drawing in more of that because I've brought it into my now. It's not in the past, it's in my now. And my body and my mind are saying to the universe, give me more of that. Wow. Which is not something that you want.
And that it continues to destroy your confidence. It continues to defeat you at every turn. So I'm going to take a little, hey, Cindy, you said hi. Hey, Cindy. I want to take a little shift in the conversation since we brought in, that quantum field. So earlier I talked, at the beginning of this about the unseen, bringing the unseen into the scene.
Right.
So that's taking what's in the quantum and bringing it into your reality, correct? Right. And so how do you manifest that? How do you take that stuff and bring it into the reality? I know you have a formula or a method.
Yeah, there is a formula. So one of the things that you want to understand is that there's a point of power where things become easy, but most people don't reach that point of power. They're off on one track over here and off on one track over there. And the point of power has 4 components. Mm-hmm. There are your thoughts. We've heard a lot about The Secret from, 10 or so years ago. And the idea was that your thoughts create reality. Well, they do to some extent because they have an energy, they're electrical, and they're transmitting out. But they're not they're not the strongest part. So it's important to have great thoughts.
Right.
And with your thoughts go emotions. So there are thoughts and emotions, core beliefs and feelings. And when you get all 4 of them going in the same direction, then that's the point of power.
Yeah, boom.
So let me explain the difference between emotions and feelings. Emotions are those things that are going on in your brain. Somebody cuts you off in traffic and you start having angry thoughts. So you're emitting those thoughts that are electrical, and the emotions start looping, and you're going to tell him and you're going to tell them, and you've got all these things going on. So that makes your thoughts a little bit stronger because you've got those mind emotions going, right?
Yeah.
But then the real power comes in when we get our core beliefs and our feelings going in the same direction. So core beliefs are those things that you feel in your gut that you may not even recognize. Like, for example, one of the things that, I've been studying quantum physics for 30 years. I've been using it with my clients for at least the last 15. And within the last month or so, I realized I had a core belief that really shocked me. And that was that I didn't feel worthy. I didn't feel worthy of all of the good things that in my head I said I wanted and I thought I believed. And so one of the things that you do is you feel into how you feel about things. How, like, here's an example. Everybody try this. Almost everyone, some people will say that they don't, but almost everyone, let's say, wants more money because it gives them access to great things, right?
Right.
So let's say that you say in your head, I want $100 million.
Right.
What do you feel in your gut? Do you feel a little pang of, and it can be fleeting, I'll never have $100 million. If that's what you feel, that's
the reality.
That's the reality. But it's also, those feelings are a great way to determine and understand what core beliefs you have that may be blocking. So I always tell people, like, if you feel a little twinge in your gut, like, that's nice to say in your head, but I don't actually believe it.
Right.
That's controlling.
Well, it's not congruent. You're not congruent.
Right. So what happens is the emotions and the thoughts send the electrical impulses out. The core beliefs and the feelings magnetize and draw things in, right? So if you're sending out anger, you're telling the universe, hey, send me more things to make me angry. And if you're feeling like you don't deserve, and I would say everyone I've ever worked with in 30 years around the globe has some form of
unworthiness.
I'm not good enough.
Unworthiness, right? Yep.
Right. So that's magnetizing, giving me more opportunities to feel as though I'm not good enough. So what you want to do is you want to start getting those 4 points together. And so everybody says to me, okay, well, how do you do that? I mean, how do I get my thoughts and my emotions and feelings and core beliefs all going in the same direction?
It's all jumbled soup right now.
To be honest with you, to get started is very simple. Can we do like a 3-minute exercise so everyone can get a little taste?
Yes, please.
Okay, so it's really simple to get started. Everybody take just a nice deep breath and relax. And I want you to call in the energy of joy. Everything has a frequency, and joy has a very high frequency.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been doing this for many years, so I can say to myself, call in the energy of joy, and I can feel it. But if you're having a hard time with that, stop and think about something that you've done or experienced that was so deliciously joyful. Like, to me, one of the things that comes to mind is the first time I looked in my daughter's eyes. Just, you know, my whole body explodes. So what is it for you that you can feel the energy of joy in your body? And just feel it. Feel it right in your gut and your solar plexus.
Mm-hmm.
Feel it expanding out, down your spine into your root chakra, up your spine, into your heart, in your throat, and out the top of your head. And now feel the energy of joy surrounding you. It's through you and it's surrounding you. So what you're doing when you do that, and I'd love to hear, you know, anybody wants to put in the chat any comments about what they felt with that. But when you're doing that, there are a couple of really cool things that are happening. One, you are bathing your cells and your DNA with joy, which is a higher frequency than just about anything. There are a couple things that are higher, but joy is really up there, right? So you're bathing your body in this health tonic. And at the same time, you can't hold the frequency of anger or pain or depression at the same time that you're holding the frequency of joy. Your body can't hold them both. So if you're angry, if you know you've been cut off in traffic and you're angry, and you bring in the frequency of joy, you can't hold that anger. Right. And so you're like, well, you know, but I want to be angry right now.
But I can't.
And you know, that's fine. That's your choice. But what you're doing with that anger is you're sending out to the universe a message that says, hey, give me more of that. Give me more things.
More people to cut me off in traffic. Yeah.
Or whatever, right? But if you are holding that frequency of joy, the universe is receiving that and going, oh, she wants more things that will give her joy.
Yes.
So, and by the way, we're not going to get into all of the science about this, but there are actual machines that can measure this. So this isn't something that I've just made up or that I think is, you know, there's actual.
Cool. I know that sounds cool.
Right. So when you're wanting to get to that point of power, there's more to it, obviously, but your first step, master calling in the frequency of joy or peace or love. Master holding that energy in your body. That is the number one thing that you can do to shift your business and shift your life. And when you're living in joy, what else could possibly make you feel more confident than that?
Yes, exactly. Hey, Eleni, thank you so much. We love you too. I'm going to just take a quick break, give Deborah an opportunity to sip some water and wet her whistle while we talk a little bit about our shows here on Germaniac TV. So we'll bring you back in a second, Deborah. Okay. So, hi, hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in. If you are on any other page than the Germaniac TV page, we want you to come on over to Germaniac TV on Facebook so that we can see your comments and interact with you. And so we're talking today to Deberah Bringleson. Deberah is a master, as you can see if you've been here. She is a master at quantum leaps, taking quantum leaps and helping you manifest what it is that you desire. And I thought of bringing her on for confidence, because that's what we all need to learn in order to boost our confidence. So this show is brought to you by AliciaCouri.com and Sebastian.com. It's sponsored by Alicia Couri and Sebastian.com. And it is here on Dramaniac TV, broadcast on Be Live. And so BeLive.tv. I'm speaking faster than I'm thinking. I need to slow it down a second. So Audacious Confidence is here on Dramaniac TV, sponsored by AliciaCouri.com and Sebastian.com. And we are broadcast live on BeLive.tv. I got it. So we're talking confidence and quantum leaps. I'm going to bring my guest back on right now, Deberah Bringleson. Come on back, and you can see everything that we're going to talk about. You know, links to Deberah, the things that she's going to share with us next will be on Dramaniac.com/Deberah. And Deberah is spelled Deberah. It's going across the screen. So make sure you go to Dramaniac.com/Deberah, and you will get all the goodies she'll tell us at the end of the broadcast, and get to see more about this wonderful, wonderful woman and connect with her. Yes, Eleni, energy is everything. Thank you. It truly is. So I want to go back a little bit, Deberah, and talk a little bit about core beliefs. Okay. We talked about feelings and bringing the feelings in, but how do you align your core beliefs? Because so many people have dreams and they say, oh yeah, I want this, or I'm believing for that. And these are my dreams. They do dream boards. They do all these outward things. They're thinking, they're talking, they're feeling, but they're still not manifesting because there are core beliefs that they're not tapping into. Right. So how do we tap into those things?
So there are a couple of things that I think are important. One is as we talked before the break, when you think of something that you want and you say in your head, I want this, I believe that I should have this. If you feel in your body, and our bodies were designed to be little sensors that tell us what's going on in our world. And we've been taught to turn those sensors off. We've been, by our parents, our families, our schools, churches, they've all taught us to turn that off.
Those feelings off. Mm-hmm.
So, we still have a little bit left, like, the hairs that rise on the back of your neck. That's a little bit that's left over. But what we want to do is we want to turn our bodies back on.
So that's where your instincts are. And we're not taught how to follow our instincts.
Right. And we're not taught to listen to our bodies. We are taught to be in our heads. And there's nothing wrong with, being intelligent and thinking. But when you do it at the cost of turning your body off, then it's like you're driving down the road with only half of the information that you could have.
Right.
So the first thing that I always tell people to try is paying attention to what they're feeling as they're thinking. So let's say, that exercise that we did, let's say I say, would you like $100 million? And in your head, you're like, well, absolutely.
Yeah, I want that. Show me the money.
But if in your body, like I say, okay, really think about having $100 million. And if you're feeling a catch in your gut or in your heart, what that's telling you is that you have a belief that is not in alignment with that thought of having $100 million. And core beliefs always trump thoughts. They control what's happening. So then you start exploring, okay, what is it that is causing me to think this way? And I'll tell you, I've been doing this for 30 years and I still have things that come up for me. It's like, oh, wow.
You spoke about that just now. Like,
yeah, I didn't realize that I still believed this, or that I ever believed this. So, and allow yourself to be honest with yourself. You know, one of the things that happens is, as I said, we want to be in the light. You know, we want to be the goodness of the world.
Yeah.
So we don't want to admit, even to ourselves sometimes, that we have these feelings that are not in alignment with
That's so true. You have to stop being honest and real with yourself first.
Right. So, like, for example, when I just realized that I had a belief that I wasn't worthy, my first instinct was, well, of course I am, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to believe that I'm not worthy, or that I don't feel that I'm worthy. So you have to be willing to be honest with yourself and start letting these feelings come up.
Yeah.
The second thing is that when you can start piercing the quantum veil and getting out there and allowing that information to come to you, it starts to get easier. So can I tell everyone that I have a free gift for them that will help?
Yes, you may. You can. You definitely can.
Okay. So for anyone who wants, I did this guided process. So I have a lot of clients who are very open to using quantum physics and growing their business and their life, because I believe you deserve a great business and a fabulous life. And it shouldn't be, you know, okay, I'm working my ass off 70 hours a week in my business and I'm barely having a life and I'm never seeing my children or my family, right? You should have both. So I do a lot of work helping them pierce the quantum veil. And I created this guided process. It's about 24 minutes. So it's not going to take you all day to do it. And it will help you get out of your body. You'll still be actually sitting in the
physically
chair.
In your chair, right.
Right. But it will help you get past the analytical mind so that you can pierce the quantum veil and start experiencing the shifting of the energy. When we first started, I believe it was Karen who said something about waves. And,
yes.
and you're absolutely right. We're particles as humans, and in the quantum world, we're particles and waves. Particles are the form. The waves are the movement of the energy. And so when you can pierce the quantum veil and get out there and start feeling the shift of the energy, the movement of the energy, the waves, that's when you can start making it a reality in your life. So if you go to 7 blueprint.com, I have a special gift that I've created for everyone. And one of the things that's in this package is a 24-minute guided process to pierce the quantum veil.
Yay! So it's going across the screen now, the free gift. You go to the 7 blueprint.com. Thank you so much for creating that for us, Deborah. That Absolutely. Is awesome. And we're talking about movement of energy and everything. And I had this weekend, the very first time I ever experienced this was I had an energy clearing. I had someone do some energy work on me for my shoulder, and she kind of cleared me out, and I was feeling all nice and you know, full of love, and then I had to go to rehearsal right after for this movie that we're going to start filming next week, where I play a wife that's been abused. And so I said, now that I feel all loving and all cleared, now I have to go and conjure up these emotions of abuse. So I said, I'll be back for another session. So after the movie. But, you know, it's really, because when you did that exercise, it reminded me of that, you know, when you bring in the feelings of joy, as practice as an actor, we have to be able to embrace different emotions and different feelings and be able to do it, like, you know, on a dime. And so that's kind of a secret too, in order to do it, either in the positive or the negative. But I also have to still stay me within all that process and not hang on to that baggage, you know, do it and then release it. So, because it's not really me. I'm always telling myself, this is not me. This is not me. So we talked about the 4 points to create to creating that. Now, let's link all this to confidence, because we started with your childhood and it being traumatic, being able to reframe those things, see where it was an advantage to you, whatever you went through, and then now into actually making those quantum shifts. I'm trying not to, I know we're giving very condensed version of everything. We're just throwing it out at you, but please get in touch with Deberah if you want some more information on this. And so what I want to talk about is, how do you now take these things and really break them down into bite-sized pieces so that it can affect your confidence in a positive way?
Well, you know, I think there are a couple of things that are really important. One is when you have core beliefs, and it's important that everyone remember that many, if not most, of our core beliefs are under the surface. They're not things we're not sitting around talking about, well, I feel unworthy. We don't talk about that, right? They're under the surface because we may not even recognize that we have those feelings, right?
Oh yeah, let's talk about that for a second, because you said feeling it in your gut. You say something, but you feel a little, it might be a fleeting little twinge in your gut. But how do you bring that into your, because that's running in your subconscious. So you're not even accessing that information. You're just feeling it. So how do you now bring that into your consciousness so that you can recognize what that twinge was?
Well, so first thing is when you think you want something and you're not getting it, the universe is designed to give you what you want unless you're blocking it. So if you say you want something and you're not getting it, then the first thing you need to start doing is asking yourself, okay, where do I believe that I can't have this, that I'm not good enough, or that I'm not smart enough, or whatever it is that it is for you. And think about, I'm not saying recall your trauma into your life, but just sort of think about the messages that you received growing up. You know, a lot of people who grew up with their grandparents who experienced the Depression have, as an example, a belief in lack. Like you know, you can't spend money and you have to always, you know, feel the energy of being poor. Well,
you have to save everything.
Right. And you're not going to have abundance if you are living in the energy of poor, or if you feel that you're not good enough. You know, a lot of people live with the energy of, I'm not good enough. I have to sacrifice myself for my family. And I'm not saying that you don't love and care for your family, but there's a difference between loving and caring for and sacrificing yourself. Those are different things. So you need to just start paying attention to how you're being out in the world. Let's say, for example, you want to be on stages. You want to be out speaking, but you're hiding at home. You're not doing anything to get yourself out there. The first thing that I would ask you if you were my client is there some place where you feel like you're not good enough or powerful enough to be on stages?
Right.
The reason that you're hiding, you know, a lot of people who went through trauma as children, they live in a world of shame, and nobody deserves to live in that world of shame. But you know, using the speaking example, if you're not out there on stages, is it because for some reason you're feeling shame?
Right. And you don't want to open up, because then people will know as soon as you open your mouth. You think that people are going to know.
Right.
So I have a question. We have a question from Karen. I'm trying to see, Karen, if you want to come on live with us. We will have you join in so you can ask the question directly to Deberah. So while we wait to see if Karen is going to jump in with us, do you mind putting up the question for us, producer? My wonderful producer. Okay, so I know when people question my integrity and ethics, it sets me off like a crazy person. What would my subconscious belief be that I am the opposite? I know I don't believe this, but is there more? Okay, she just said but ... Maybe she's coming on camera. So so if that's a trigger for you, someone questions your integrity, What could be some of those core beliefs?
Well, so I would ask you, is there someone who has questionable integrity who was an influence in your life and you're afraid you're like that person? Or have you ever done something, and I'm not saying that you have questionable integrity, but have you ever done something that you wish you wouldn't have? I think we probably all have. So remember when I was talking about embracing both the darkness and the light? Are there parts of you where there's darkness that you need to just embrace and say, yeah, okay.
All right, Karen is here with us. Yay. Hey, Karen. All right. So did you hear any of that? Because I know you were trying to get on camera.
Sorry, I didn't. I heard her say about asking during childhood. That's what I heard you ask. And to answer that, well, now that I'm thinking about that, okay. So when I was younger, oh, this is horrible. You guys are going to think horrible of me.
Oh, no. This is the shift. No judgment. No judgment.
Okay. So when I was younger, and it's my belief that I have changed since then. This is funny, this is coming up. But when I was younger, I wasn't confident in people liking me for myself. So I used to overcompensate, and I would buy my friends candy and do all this stuff, right? Now, I started working when I was younger, but when you're little, you don't really have money as a child. So see a little change here, see a little change there. So I used to stealing, whatever. I stole money from my parents to buy candy. And so I remember
people would like you.
Like in second grade, I took $100 bill thinking it was $1. And I bought candy and I shared with all my friends. So I remember I got in a lot of trouble for that. So that is where my integrity would come into question. I'm guessing that situation, and maybe I've never, and I guess I asked the question, and now it's coming back when I hear you verbalizing it. But now, it's just like, I do everything, to remain and be viewed as someone who has high morals, to be ethical, live in integrity. My word is my bond. And I work at that. But when somebody questions that, it's like, whoa, hold up. I know I have not done anything for you to think this way. So why are you projecting this?
It could be their own stuff too that they're projecting.
Right. But why would it set me off versus I know it's only true if I accept it as being true. And I know I'm not accepting of it. So why is it that, why
it still triggers you?
Yeah.
Well, so I think there are probably a couple of things going on. And this is brilliant that you're dealing with this, right? So let's pop the bubble. First of all, embrace that you were a kid and you made a choice that you would not make today.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And forgive yourself, because I'm guessing what's going on right now is you're carrying forward the shame. So if somebody says something about you that has no realm of truth to it, it's no big deal at all, right? But if there's something that you feel has a ring of truth, even if in the moment it doesn't, it will hook you in, it will trigger you. And so doing some exercises to forgive yourself, to let go of that shame, because what's happening is in the quantum world, you're bringing that into your now, which is going to create more of those experiences in your future, which you don't want, right?
Right. So, and it didn't come up. I didn't make the association until I heard you ask, what is it? And it was like, came up just like that. And I was like, whoa, okay.
And I think because you do a lot of work on yourself too, Karen, that it's able to come up that quickly. Because sometimes people have to dig and dig and dig. Right. But when you're opened your consciousness up to finding the answer, when you ask the question, it comes to you very quickly.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. Okay. So I forgive you for those experiences. Alicia, do you forgive her for those?
I forgive you, Karen, so much. And I love you. And I think you're worthy of love.
Thank you.
So much.
Thank you.
Karen, over the next, few days, maybe you can meditate on this and you can forgive yourself.
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
We all make mistakes, right?
Yeah.
It's part of being human.
That's right.
Yeah.
So even though I guess, even when you think you've come through, there's always something that you can work on. There's always pieces that you can go back and heal. And that's what I needed to remember. So thank you for allowing me to bring that forward and knowing that I can work on that. So thank you.
Absolutely.
If you download that guided process that I'm giving away, when you get out into the quantum field, take this with you and allow the quantum waves, to help move this energy out of your life.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And Sebastian said, Karen, you're one of the kindest persons I've come to know.
Well, thank you, Sebastian. I appreciate that.
All right, then. So thank you. We got a little live.
Bye-bye.
Bye. A live demo, live coaching. Love it, love it, love it. And so even, little things like that can really affect your confidence and stepping out and stepping forward and doing something audaciously. Just like you talked about earlier, you want to be a speaker, but you're hiding. And that was my story. I mean, and again, stories, that was my story. I was hiding so much. And this is why I'm doing this show, because I came to recognize that I was hiding. I came to recognize my lack of confidence and my lack of being bold and stepping out, which I developed. It wasn't in me as a child. It wasn't in me at 2, 3, 4 years old, but it developed over time. And so I had to peel back those layers too, and find out what if I have a desire to do this, why am I not doing it? What is holding me back? And so I thank you so much, Deberah, for doing this, for being so open and so willing to give and so willing to share and help people through this process. I am so honored to have you on the show. And so is there anything else you would like to share with our audience as we start coming to a close here tonight?
The thing I want everyone to remember, and I have to remind myself this all day long, every day, is we are not the bodies that we see when we look in the mirror. That is not who we are. We are the divine energy that shaped the entire universe. That's how powerful we are. We are the love of whoever your divine creator is. And there is nothing about us that is shameful or bad or limited in any way except for what we put on ourselves. So when you're wanting to conquer the world, feel that energy of the divine in you, because you're not the person in the mirror.
Breathe it in.
You're divine. So go out and live that life.
Nice. And Sebastian made a comment. I did a live today about accepting your truth, which is so much on the feeling similar to this. So thanks, Deberah. Yes, I'm so honored to have you. And I know we're going to have you back again on another show. We'll have you on Women Unleashed for sure, because we want to continue this unveiling, of stepping into this quantum realm. So Deberah, thank you. Mwah. I've only known you a short time, but I feel a deep connection to you, and I love you. I love your spirit, and I know we're going to have a long relationship together. Absolutely. Doing things together. So thank you, Deberah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So you have been watching Audacious Confidence here on Dramaniac TV with Deberah Bringleson. You can find out more about Deberah Bringleson if you go to www.dramaniac.com/Deberah. And Deberah is spelled Deberah. She gave away a phenomenal gift. It's 7 ways to double your revenue 7 ways to double your revenue. It's a blueprint. So you could just go to 7blueprint.com, and you'll also get that guided meditation that she was talking about as an added gift. So 7blueprint.com, and it will also be linked on our Germaniac.com page /Deberah. Thank you again for joining us. Thank you for watching. As always, I hope you gained something. I hope you learned something. I hope you can take something away from this to help you live your life in a more abundant way, in a bigger way, and really have those opportunities that you desire to bring into your life. Because here at Germaniac TV, we always say that you dream big and we make it happen. So good night, everybody. Mwah. Love you. Bye.